AUI University in Ifran is still quite young. This is only its 18th commencement. Yet the university, founded upon an insightful royal vision of innovation in teaching and learning carefully matched to Morocco's needs for its future, has met remarkable success. From the Board of Trustees, I have been able to watch recent developments, and I am impressed. Marvelous leaders fashion the university's present and future. Ambitious students study here. Able graduates are already projecting the university's value into the larger world. My life has taught me how important institutions are. Civilization is sustained, and the baton is passed within them. AUI University in Ifran is already a very important institution among Moroccan institutions, and it merits your lasting loyalty. As I began to think about what to say to you today, I encountered a distinct sense of challenge. How could I speak usefully across the cultural boundaries that separate us? On previous occasions, I've presented commencement addresses, but always to audiences in my country. On those occasions, it was natural to draw on ideas, history, and symbols from our own culture. I've talked about St. Paul and Jane Austen and Thomas Jefferson, about George Washington and George Frederick Handel, about Michelangelo and Albert Einstein. I spoke about the American Civil War and the American Revolution. Many times, I invoked the great Abraham Lincoln. But the cultural resources that are so natural to me in a lifetime of living within them are not very useful today. You are Moroccan. I am so obviously American. You are nearly all Islamic. I am Christian. The graduates here are creatures of the 21st century. My nature took shape in the middle of the 20th. You dwell in and draw your perspective from the Eastern Hemisphere and North Africa. I draw mine from the Western Hemisphere and North America. These are big differences. They affect our ways of looking at nearly everything. And they complicate my task of saying something useful to you today. At the outset of my preparation, I was perplexed. But then I realized that this very challenge should become the main point of this address. Learning how to work respectfully and effectively across cultural boundaries is as important for the graduates here today as nearly anything else they have developed or can develop toward their futures. I urge each graduate to be on the lookout for specific knowledge and skills that can facilitate relationships across gaps in culture. Foster them actively and treasure your store of them. Let me draw your mind to another sort of gap, to a geographic one not far away, to the Pillars of Hercules. One of the two peaks that flank the Strait of Gibraltar. One of the pillars, the Jebel Musa, is part of Morocco. Practically everyone in this audience has lived his or her whole life right next to the Pillars of Hercules, the fabled and historic gateway. In Greek mythology, Heracles, the greatest of mortal heroes, obtained supernatural powers from the goddess Hera. Those powers led him into a set of adventures known as the 12 Labors, taking place over the entire world known to the Greeks. Roman mythology built on the Greek tradition and renamed the character Hercules, which is the name we hear most often these days. The Pillars of Hercules mark the western limit of the travels of Hercules as he performed his 10th labor, fetching the cattle from the monster Geryon from the far west. According to another Roman myth, Hercules actually created the Strait of Gibraltar using his superhuman strength to smash through the mountains, connecting the great waters. Superheroes, monsters might be popular in our time, but they aren't new. People have been fascinated with them for just about as far back as we can tell. In antiquity, legends arose about the Strait of Gibraltar and its flanking mountains precisely because it was such a striking and significant place. It divided land from land and water from water. For the ancients, it separated but nearly connected two great land masses. Today we know them as continents. And it separated, but actually did connect, the great sea of their world, the Mediterranean, with vast, unknowable waters beyond. Nothing further beyond, sailors were told, even into what we call the Middle Ages of European history. The gap across the Pillars of Hercules is physically small, only 14 kilometers, 9 miles. But it has greatly shaped legend and history and culture for millennia. My big point to the graduates here is that you have unprecedented opportunities to surmount that gap and many others. In just a few decades since the end of the Second World War, stupendous changes have been manifested by our global energy economy, by our transport systems, by our communications technologies, by the advent and advance of information technology, and by the vast growth of global education beyond the Lyceum. In just the past 2 decades, the changes have accelerated blindingly. I won't say that all this change is without problems or is wholly welcome. Indeed, it is not. But it does carry opportunities for talented, focused people everywhere to succeed effectively and satisfyingly, even across boundaries that previously confined them. But as I say these things, do not confuse my message. Do not think that we are emerging into a world in which boundaries will be erased. They will not, for sure. Culture is very powerful, maybe more powerful than anything else in human compass. When culture comes in conflict with other forces, culture almost always wins. Your opportunity is in being able to work in a world where effective transactions across cultural lines are vastly easier than ever before, and in a world where geography matters less. But success requires more than airplanes and the internet, more than cell phones and GPS. It needs carefully developed skills that facilitate human interactions across cultural boundaries. I will mention only 4, and in just 4 paragraphs. Language, listening, observing, and appreciation. Cultural boundaries very often involve a difference in language, and working across any such divide requires that one of the parties accommodate to the other. You have the advantage if you can manage the language difference yourself. In this area, graduates of Al-Akhawain University have distinct strengths because they leave the university with good command of 3 or more languages. The advantage derives both from the nature of Moroccan culture and from your choice of a university with an innovative, venturesome plan of instruction. I wish I had your language skills. Cultivate them. They are most valuable. Also extremely valuable and work across cultural lines are the abilities to listen with skill and to observe with care. No matter how old and experienced you become, the world will still offer more good ways to accomplish worthwhile things than you will have yet learned about. Open your mind to what smart people elsewhere have figured out. The most critical abilities toward that end, listening and observing well, require thoughtful development of your own self, including the cultivated habit of avoiding rushing to judgment before you have heard and digested new information. And here's my advice about appreciation. Learn to draw inspiration from the brilliance of human performance, not from the perfection of individuals. Marvelous things are done by real people working in their own cultures. Learn to appreciate the greatness of what they have done without expecting them to be flawless in your eyes. The jewels are everywhere, in music, literature, painting, and architecture, in political leadership, in scientific and engineering achievement, in medicine, in sport, certainly in charitable commitment, indeed, in every sphere of human activity. And finally, let me offer one last parenthetical remark on geography. Although I used the Pillars of Hercules in this address as a metaphor for gaps and boundaries to be surmounted, I would also like to observe that there is a growing advantage for Moroccan society in being located next to the real Pillars of Hercules. Geography is still important when one thinks about the traffic of commerce and other human communication. Hardly any locale on the globe is more significant in that context than the region of the Strait of Gibraltar. Morocco is ideally situated to mediate international interchange among Europe and Africa, Europe and South America, North America, and Africa. This is a time for imaginative Moroccan entrepreneurs to seize new opportunities. Some are surely in this graduating class. 50 years from now, graduates, your world will be different. And you will be different because of your journey within it. My wish for every one of you is that your pursuit of life will lead to a deep satisfaction over your ability to maintain your integrity, to an abiding joy over the experiences and affections that life brings, and to a warm residue of exhilaration from the exquisite moments that you encounter. Congratulations to each one of you, and thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Larry Faulkner. Shukran, Lissaid Larry Faulkner. I would like now to invite Mr. Chancellor to hand a souvenir plaque to our keynote speaker. يتفضل الآن رئيس مجلس أمناء الجامعة لتقديم هدية تذكارية لضيف الشرف. All right, so the time has now come for our graduates to receive their diplomas. I will now call the Dean of the School of Humanities and Social Sciences, Dr. Nizar Massari. I would like to call the congratulating team led by our Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Mohammed Dahbi. I would also like to call Dr. Emily Roy. Also member of our congratulating team, Dr. Zaid Bouzdian. And Dr. Abdurrahim Agnaw. We will now proceed by calling the names of our graduates. But before, I'd like to ask you, as you walk towards your diploma, to think about your proud parents and to say thank you. Master of Arts in International Studies and Diplomacy, ماجستير فنون تخصص دراسات دولية ودبلوماسية، عبير إيبوك. Students expected to graduate in a summer session. الطلبة المتوقع تخرجهم في نهاية الدورة الصيفية: حميد نعماني. تونو نمهينا كيبالو. Combined Bachelor of Arts and Master of Arts in International Studies and Diplomacy, دبلوم مزدوج بكالوريوس وماجستير فنون تخصص دراسات دولية ودبلوماسية. Students expected to graduate in the summer. الطلبة المتوقع تخرجهم في نهاية الدورة الصيفية: ياسين القروري. Bachelor of Arts in International Studies, بكالوريوس فنون تخصص دراسات دولية. الطالب الحاصل على أعلى درجة: valedictorian عبد السلام وزاني. Summa cum laude. Along with his diploma, he will receive a trophy for his outstanding academic performance. سراء جيزول، سوما كوم لاودي، درجة ممتاز. نعمة مصباحي، ماغنا كوم لاودي، درجة جيد جدا. شهاب عدلي محمد راجح دانا، كوم لاودي، درجة جيد. مروان المندري، غائب. يسرى أمهاير. هند الأنصاري. ماريا غنام. مريم سهام القراري. المهدي مصباح غائب. فاضل طلبة. Students expected to graduate in a summer session. الطلبة المتوقع تخرجهم في نهاية الدورة الصيفية. أديزا عبد الله نرجونجو. عماد بالله. سكينة ديغا. اسماعيل المتقي. فاطم زهراء إدريسي. سناء جلال. Thank you, Dr. Emily Roy and Dr. Zaid Bouzian. Now I will call Dr. Kenza Umlil and Dr. Jeremy Gunn. Bachelor of Arts in Communication Studies, بكالوريوس فنون تخصص دراسات الاتصال. سارة سرحان. كوم لاودي درجة جيد. يسرى الشناعي كوم لاودي درجة جيد. أسامة بن يشو. عبلال بردعي. ماجدة الشنيوي. سارة الزواق. سوريا هشام. أحمد حميد دوش. أسماء دخسان. Students expected to graduate in a summer session. الطلبة المتوقع تخرجهم في نهاية الدورة الصيفية. هند بوساك. سكينة الشباك. ياسين البولي الرقيبي. صوفيا الوردي. سارة الحمداوي. نبيلة قرمومة. Bachelor of Science in Human Resource Development بكالوريوس علوم تخصص تنمية الموارد البشرية. دلال هلالي سوما كوم لاودي درجة ممتاز. مريم بن سليمان سوما كوم لاودي درجة ممتاز. فدوى البزور كوم لاودي درجة جيد. يسرى حرادي كوم لاودي درجة جيد. العربي الزرهوني. هند بن سودا. ريم الهادي. زينب الحجوجي. إيمان منصوري. هند نباكي. Students expected to graduate in a summer session. الطلبة المتوقع تخرجهم في نهاية الدورة الصيفية. سارة البوحسيني. زكريا المتني. ماريا الغليظ. اسماعيل الزبير. We would like now to take few moments to recognize achievements by our students. نود الآن أن نكرم بعض الطلبة على إنجازاتهم. I call Mr. Chancellor to give them their award in recognition of winning the Best Comedy Chair at the North Africa International Model United Nations, September 2014, Anas Shihab. In recognition of winning the Best Position Paper at the North Africa International Model United Nations, September 2014, Ghassan Mhaifid. In recognition of winning the Best Delegate at the North Africa International Model United Nations, September 2014, Iman Barmaki. In recognition of winning both Best Delegate and Best Position Paper at the North Africa International Model United Nations, September 2014, Ahmed Shaqroun. Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. Now I'll call Mr. Mohammed Barrada. In recognition of his qualification to the ACM International Collegiate Programming Contest, Marrakesh, May 2015, Ashraf Mamdouh. In recognition of his qualification at the ACM International Collegiate Programming Contest, Marrakesh, May 2015, Saad Taam. In recognition of his qualification to the ACM International Collegiate Programming Contest, Marrakesh, May 2015, Muhammad Khalil Ait Ibrahim. Thank you, Mr. Barrada. Now I'll call Mrs. Maryam bin Saleh Shaqroun. Mrs. Maryam bin Saleh Shaqroun. In recognition of winning the Global Business Institute Project Feasibility Study Competition in the U.S. 2014, Qamar Hannawi. In recognition of winning the Global Business Institute Project Feasibility Study Competition in the U.S. 2014, Mehdi Al-Iraqi. In recognition of his co-authorship of a book chapter in 2014, Omar Baqadi. In recognition of winning a silver medal in the women's tennis tournament at the AUI Commencement Sport Tournament, Madrid, November 2014, Selma Shuhib. Thank you to our SHSS school. I would like now to